Welcome to another edition of NJCA Hot Hoops. Kenya Landers, Trinity Valley Great, and Dan Olson here for the next hour or so talking JUCO basketball, women's JUCO basketball. Uh,
Yes.
and we're delighted to be here with you. And Kenya, we got a new number one again,
Don't we?
Ola Indians.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
They flirted at number two there a couple of weeks ago, got knocked
Mhm.
off, but then we had some other things happen, and voila, they are
Yeah.
5-2 and number one in the country.
How about it, man? Like
Yeah.
that's
So
good stuff.
you want to go over the top 10 for the week?
Yeah, we've had a bit of a juggle here, which is, fun for us, the fans
Yeah.
of the game, right?
This
It's
is
fun
something
for
to
us.
talk about.
Um,
Yeah.
but coming in at number one is Chipola College, that was previously number three last week. Coming in at number two, Three Rivers. Three Rivers jumped up from number four. Northwest Florida State is at number three, and our number one position holder from last week, New Mexico Junior Colleges, is at number four. We got Wabash Valley at five, as they were. Shelton State at six, as they were last week. Dodge Cities at seven, as they were last week. And then we got McLennan coming in at number eight. They were nine last week. And then we got South Plains at nine, and Gulf Coast State at the 10th position. So we got a little movement, got a little juggling going on. But the crazy thing that I am seeing, all these people in the top 10 with all this juggling, the top five only have two losses
Yeah.
this year, you
Mm.
know? So it's just really interesting. And then you got, a few with three, and then Gulf Coast has four, but their schedule is so strong.
Yeah.
So we got our top 10, and these people are performing, and they're performing consistently. So it's that time of year, like we talk about.
Peaking at the right time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know who I think is a dark horse out of this whole thing? We haven't talked
Tell
to her.
me.
We talked to her last year. Shelton State, Madonna Thompson. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
she tested her team early in the year. They played
Yep.
Wabash, Three Rivers a
Mm-hmm.
couple of times, So,
Yeah.
and I think her teams have gotten better. Her strength of her in league schedule isn't always as strong, but
Mm-hmm.
she coaches them up now. 25-3, Shelton State sitting at number six.
Yeah.
She's due.
Yep.
National
She
tournament time,
is.
she's due.
She
So,
is.
what about the top 10 in the Division Two side?
Yeah, so we got Kirkwood 27-0 at one, Johnson County 29-0 at two.
Wow.
Essex is sitting at number three, 23-1. Lincoln Land is four. Mesa out in Arizona is five.
Mhm.
Union, New Jersey is six. Lakeland in Illinois is seven. Highland out in Kansas, they're coming in at eight. And we got Pima from Arizona at nine, and Illinois Central rounding it out with number 10.
So those two top teams looks like they're going to run the table
It looks like it.
and could potentially meet, in Joplin, Missouri for a final,
Yeah.
like they did
Yeah.
last year. Those were the
Right.
two final
Yeah,
teams last
exactly.
year. So now Union was poised. They were at three. And I looked at their schedule and I'm like, she's going to run the table. She's going to go
Yeah.
undefeated. And she took two hits in a row, still in the top 10 in the country, but 24-2 Union, New Jersey. Uh, she's got a nice team there. And a
Yeah.
lot of people maybe don't know about them, but they got some talent, both front court, back
Mhm.
court.
Yeah.
And so this is going to be an interesting D2 tournament that starts the week before we go to Casper. But
Yeah.
yeah, how about some winners and losers for the week?
Yeah.
We've got some
Who's
surprise teams in those categories.
Yeah, who's hot and who's not, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Shelton State, Dodge City, Casper, Florida, Southwestern, Walter State, Trinity Valley, and Trenton out of Illinois, they all were undefeated this week.
Mhm.
And for a couple of these teams, they had lost last week,
Yeah,
and came back and responded this week with two wins. I know Trinity Valley had that loss against Blinn,
correct.
um, and they've bounced back this week.
Mhm.
So we got who's not. New Mexico dropped one. Northwest Florida State dropped one. Hutch dropped one, and Eastern Florida State, they dropped one as well, along with Cochise. And then you had Salt Lake, Panola, and Colby all dropped 2 games this past week. So,
Mm.
it's tough to stay in the hunt when you're losing two in 1 week.
Yeah, like Salt Lake's got a good team. She's got a lot
Yes.
of talent on her team, and they've got to figure it out. It's getting late, so they got to figure it out and get
Mm-hmm.
hot. Um,
Yeah.
and same with Coach East in such a tough league, like we spoke with
Yeah.
Misty last week about her team. Yeah, it's the dogfight. These last few games are crucial. You know,
Yes.
and Panola, same thing. They got a nice team. They got to figure it out.
Yep.
So we'll see how it unfolds as we move forward here in the next week ahead, because we've got some teams that are starting region tournaments now coming up. So,
Yeah.
you know, hey, when we come back, we're going to do a rewind session for Hot Hoops, okay? And we're going to talk about some of these upsets that happened from last week when we come
Let's
right
do
back.
it.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back, NJCAA Hot Hoops with Kenya Landers, Dan Olson. We're going to talk some rewind, and we had some surprises, Kenya, last week for some games. Let's start off in the Panhandle, the always tough Panhandle.
Yeah.
Chipola, number one, Chipola, knocked off Gulf Coast 83-74. And the
Mm-hmm.
player that we've talked about many a times on this show, Kanijah Daniel, she had 18, three threes in the game. And her front court teammate, Serena Hareen, who we
Yeah.
haven't really spoke a lot about, but a talented forward, 6 foot 6'1", active around the key. She had 18 and 8 in the win for Chipola. Clara Koulibaly for Gulf Coast had 26. Now, this is a face-up 4-5 that can stretch you out, knock down jump shots to the three-point line. 26 points. Alicia Murray with 19. Both of those sophomores and are unsigned, as well as Genevia Gage. Genevia Gage is a Texan transfer
Mm-hmm.
from Weatherford. She had 10 boards. We've talked about her before. She's one of the nation's rebounding machines that's in there in the mix among JUCO players.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hop up to the Kansas Jayhawk Conference. And Coffeyville's been hot. They have won like 11 straight.
Mm-hmm.
Then they ran into Butler the other day and they lost 56-52.
Yeah.
So Butler seemed to jump out at them early and they just never catch up. So um, and the key, I think, for the game, Butler out rebounded Coffeyville by 19. That's a huge margin. You're not going to win a lot of games if you get out rebounded by 19. So for Butler, Kenzie Gallahart had 16, and Norika Welch, who we mentioned a week or so
Yeah.
ago, she led
He went
Coffee
off.
19.
Yeah.
She's been scoring it pretty good for them lately.
Yes.
Let's hop down to Arizona, where we spoke last week with Misty Opat,
Yeah.
Cochise. She's at 18 and 9 right now and 25 in the poll.
Mm-hmm.
But got knocked off by Arizona Western 72-61. Arizona Western is 23 and 3, and they just won the regular season conference title down there.
Yeah.
So, but they have got some unsung heroes on that Arizona Western team. and our one of our favorite Naomi Zanzan Huey
Zan
had
Zan.
13,
Yeah.
and that's kind of below her numbers because she's
Hmm.
dynamic.
Yeah.
But Nia Hardy came off the bench and dropped 25.
Now
So
that's a luxury.
that's nice. Nice to have
That's
some
a luxury.
some sixth, seventh man help, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Michaela Silas had 24 for Cochise. Jessie Joe Queen, 9, but 12 boards. That's kind of under her numbers on the rebounding side.
Hmm.
So here's a state region we don't talk much about so far this year, but I'm sure
Yeah.
we're going to hear some noise. Um, Itawamba knocked off Southwest Mississippi. Both these teams are unranked. But hey, they've got talent. Both of these teams have got players. Itawamba, by the way, coached by Robin Porter, who's a sister to the great Auburn player, a guy named Chris Porter. I think he had a brief stint in the league, but was a tremendous college player. Tootie
Hmm.
Lockett had 13 and 4 for Itawamba, and that's a great name, Tootie. And
Yeah.
then Mookie Lampley at 11
Mookie and
Southwest
Tootie.
Mississippi. So two good teams,
Yeah.
probably a lot of pressure, up tempo exchange in that game, and fun game to watch. So
Absolutely.
we'll see what happens moving forward in that region as we get close to the tournament, who gets in. So let's hop back to Kansas. Hutch squeezes by Butler County 54-49. So Hutch, I believe they not got knocked off the other day too. They got 3 losses for the season.
Hmm.
Um, but Butler came in with a 5-game winning streak, but now they've got a 5-game losing streak against Hutch.
Yeah.
So Haley Jackson led Hutch, of course, with 13. No surprise to that. And but Hutch had 20 bench points, and Butler only had 9. And
Yeah. That's the difference.
yeah, and they had a bit of a rebounding edge, about 9 in the rebounding department. So Keegan Yerrick for Butler had 14.
Mm.
That was their leader for the game that day. So now here's a game that kind of surprised me. I don't know what they're doing over there in Midland, okay? But Midland knocked off New Mexico, who's number 1 at that time, 87-78. So Midland 16 and 10. Midland's normally been a powerhouse over the long haul and have done very
Mhm.
well. Um, they're getting there. They're getting there. They had 3 players with more than 20 points on in this game. They were really shooting it well. I believe like shot 60% from the floor in the
Wow.
third quarter, you know. So and Atoya Montgomery, she's like a 6'1" wing player.
Mm.
Um, Finally put up some solid numbers, had 24, 2 threes in that game. She was one among many that really participated in that game with like some serious numbers, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Casey Antonio, considered probably the best guard that's out there,
Yeah.
unsigned, had 24 and 9 rebounds for New Mexico. Their two stars, Antonio and Panya Davis, both showed up. Panya had 22 and 6. So, but they still got knocked off. So, hey, anybody can get beat, you
Yeah.
know? Um, and speaking of anybody who can get beat, we have talked about Pensacola. If Pensacola was in another league, they would be making noise.
Do
But
you
they got a bank.
remember? Do you
Huh?
remember who my team was that when we said if we had to pick today, who do you think would win the national championship? Do you remember who I said?
No, tell
It
me.
was Chipola.
Chipola. Okay.
And I think you said, I'll have to go look because I wrote it down, so I
I
don't want to
said
misspeak.
Northwest.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And here's
we shall see.
Pensacola being a spoiler. You know.
Or making me look real good.
Yeah, both of us. But yeah, here's Pensacola. I mean, they made it happen, man. They knocked it down late, and
Where was the game at?
it was at Pensacola, I believe. I
Yeah.
could be wrong. I'm not certain of that. But Jaden McDonald, 13 and 10. That's their go-to forward. But they had 5 players in double figures, so Penny Belford with a big win, and it's a mess over in the Panhandle because you got, I think, a tie with Chipola and Northwest now for the league lead. And both teams combined for 16 threes. So it was a shootout, you know.
Yeah.
Northwest had a shot at the end, but they couldn't drop it, you know. So,
Yeah.
but what a good game and typical Panhandle game, you
Yeah.
know.
Wild and crazy.
Yeah.
Some good basketball.
Last but not least, let's talk about Casper because
Yeah.
we've got Dwight Gunnare, a head coach at Casper, on in our hot
Yeah.
seat segment. They knocked off Central Wyoming. They put it on them 76-39. Two of the best players off of that Casper team both signed.
Mhm.
Andy Schisler had 22. This girl can stroke it. She's going to North Texas. And Adame Baje Cole had 10, 5 boards, 3 assists. And she's going to Florida International. So it's a good week of games, some surprises,
Yeah.
exciting. It's going to be only the better. Same thing next week, I'm sure, as we keep going.
Yeah.
When we come back, let's do some upload and the next games for the next week, okay?
Yeah.
When we come back on NJCA Hot Hoops. We're back with NJCA Hot Hoops. Kenya, let's talk some upload of the games ahead for the week. We've got some ranked opponents going after each other that could make some shifts in the poll.
Shake up.
Number 8, McLennan's going to be over at Collin County. Collin County's they can mess up some stuff now.
They're gonna be ready to
don't
go.
sleep on Collin.
They're gonna be ready to go. You already
Yeah.
know that.
And they were two nemesis among each other last year. So,
Mhm.
well, I'll expect the same maybe this year, as it moves forward. Gulf Coast, number 10 this week against number 3, Northwest Florida State. Always going to be a good game. You got two top 10 teams going at it. Trinity Valley at 15 this week. They're playing Tyler. Don't sleep on Tyler.
Yeah. That's a
Tyler's
game
at
though, you
home.
never know. Like that's
Yeah,
a game, your record doesn't matter, your ranking doesn't matter. Like it
there you
is
go.
just a competitive rivalry
You
for
ready to
sure.
play.
Hmm.
Southern Idaho's at Snow. These teams have been kind of knocking each other off. Nobody's been like a step ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So Southern Idaho receiving votes this week. So we'll see how that plays out. Number 18, Coffeeville's at number 7, Dodge. So that could go either way. I mean, these are they're tightly contested games. And we got Eastern Wyoming going to play at home at Casper, number 21 this week. And Casper's got them at home. So, and then we got Trinity Valley again against Panola, which has been a dogfight for who knows how long.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out. And like I said, we've got some Division 2 tournament games coming on,
Yeah.
region tournament games to determine who goes to Joplin, Missouri. They're going to be starting this week as well. So,
Yeah.
look, when we come back in our hot seat segment, we're going to talk with Dwight Gunnare at Casper College in Wyoming. We're excited to have Dwight on.
Yes.
And he's the host this year for the national tournament, of course. So we'll talk to Dwight when we come back after these messages.
Intensity fuels these champion student athletes to greatness. Zurich Insurance is proud to be the official provider of student athlete insurance for the National Junior College Athletic Association. Throughout the highs, we cheer along to their screams of victory. Throughout the lows, we support them through their tears of defeat. Zurich Insurance, helping student athletes play the sport they love.
We're back with our hot seat segment. Kenya, we've got Dwight Gunnare, the head coach at Casper College in Wyoming, as our hot seat guest. Dwight, welcome to the show. And we're delighted to have you here on Hot Hoops.
I really, really appreciate the invite. This is a good opportunity for us to talk a little bit about Casper, et cetera. So thank you. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have you, and um, the NJCAA has decided that we're going to both, Kenya and myself, be at the national tournament for the last couple of days of the event. So we are Casper bound in March, and we are looking forward.
Parka.
Yeah,
That is awesome. I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. I hope it is as a coach in the tournament, not just as a
Yeah.
spectator. So, but
Yeah.
I will definitely make sure we connect.
Yes. So how cold is it gonna be, just to try to mentally prepare myself?
Well, you can be prepared for anything from 65 to 10 degrees. Yeah.
Oh.
And the other thing is bring your wind gear.
Ah,
We have beautiful summers here, low
yeah.
humidity. We get in the 90s, cool off in the evenings, but we have, our winters and, into late spring, you can get any type of weather there is. And if I had a major complaint, it's not the temperatures, it's the wind. The wind
The
can
win.
really change a okay day into a bad day and a good day
Yeah.
into an okay day. So,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Be prepared for everything.
Okay.
That's all I can
All
say. I
right.
hope.
right. I got it covered. She's getting valet service to the door anyway.
As you don't
Dan,
know how many
my man.
you don't know how many times I've just been so ecstatic. I have an inside job because
Yeah.
we're Montana previous, which is
Oh,
definitely a winter zone, and here, so I'm just thankful I have an indoor job, and it's just like that from the vehicle
yeah.
to the
Yeah.
indoors. That's all I can handle.
Oh, wow.
Well, we understand you're going to call it a day in June 2025.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. It's been a 43-year career. Um,
Wow. Thank you.
oh, thank you, thank you. There,
Wow.
and 23 has been at the college level
Mhm.
and NJCA level, but it's been an amazing journey. I still love a lot of it. I love working with the kids and those kind of things. But, you know, um, 3 years ago, my wife and I both lost our parents, and we kind of look back at their life, and it was they worked. And then when they
Yeah.
finally got a chance to do something, they physically couldn't. And, we
Mhm.
kind of set our date of 3 years, both of us retiring. And I am 65 now, and my wife will be in I better not say, but probably in the near future.
You
Yeah.
keep our business
Yes.
private
Hopefully she
now.
doesn't watch this.
You keep our business private.
Yes, 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 yes.
Well,
So
I'm so happy that we have the opportunity to have you. And I just feel like, from Dan and I always say, from JUCO people like we are, been in the junior college business for 23 years. Just we always love to give the flowers and just say thank you for the impact that you've had on so many, young people, and not even just your athletes. I mean, your students, your managers, your athletic trainers. I mean, there's just so many people that you have the opportunity to touch. And so, thank you for that. And I mean, it truly is a service. Coaching is a service job. It's a selfless job. And so just kudos to you, and thank you for sticking with it for so long.
I really appreciate that. And you're correct. If done right, we're in a great platform to
Yeah.
set a good example, to teach life lessons, teach a great game, and try to get good there. But I honestly have to say the young adults that I've coached have impacted my life equally. It is
Yeah.
That's the part I'm going to miss the most, is being able
Mhm.
to just work with just amazing young adults, because
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate in my career to have that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I love
Kenya,
that.
54 academic All-Americans.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Amazing.
impressive.
Yeah.
Hey, you've got some doctors and lawyers and such out there, I have a feeling.
Boy, okay, I got to do a backstory here. I am not a
Okay.
social media person,
All right.
so I do stay connected. I probably will when I am on finished with coaching, but
Mhm.
I just don't need to occupy my time on other people's opinions and distract myself. So I've really avoided doing that. So I do stay connected. And matter of fact, Saturday I had a great surprise. Part of the former team I coached in Miles came down to watch one of my final games and stuff like
Oh,
that. So I do stay in touch as far as doctors and lawyers. I'm not positive on, but we have college
very
professors.
successful. Yes.
Very much, very much.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and that's the key. That's the important
That
thing.
is absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about your crew this year. You guys are, you're rolling. You're doing a good job this season. Some highs and some lows, like we kind of all expect, right? In this very very competitive world of
Mhm.
women's junior college basketball. So
Yeah.
just talk to us about where you are now, what players that you have that are stepping up and carrying some load for you. We just want to know about your crew.
Awesome. Awesome. First of all, I just really enjoyed coaching this group. We did lose two very impactful players to season-ending injuries, Brooke Wright and Alexandra Axe. And so we got off to a little bit of a tougher start. And we kind of had to reinvent ourselves as a team. And I don't know. I'm not a big numbers guy as far as streaks and stuff like that, but we probably have won 14 out of our last 15 games and have been playing pretty solid. Our
7 in a
overall
row.
record, how
Yeah,
many?
you guys
Pardon?
you guys have won 7 in a row. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
prior to our loss to Western Wyoming, I think we had probably 7 or 8 in a row there, or 9 in a
Mhm.
row
Mhm.
and stuff. And our overall record against Region 9 is, I think, like 15-1 at this point in time. So we've competed there really
Yeah.
well. Uh, just been a great group to coach. To highlight several of our players, Adama Baji Coley is from Spain. She's from Spain. Had 2 great years here. She's already committed to Florida International University. And then Andy Schisler is combo guard from Colorado. She's committed to North Texas already. And we have
To the warmer weather.
yes, they're all.
They got
I
smart
love
and got
the
south.
international. I love recruiting international because
Yeah.
they're just looking for the opportunity
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they don't look at the climate.
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
so
right. Yeah.
after they're here for 2 years, then they're looking
Then
at
they
I
start,
can
they get
continue
Americanized.
Yes, absolutely. So it's been incredible, but yeah, just love our team. Love our team. Everybody
Yeah.
has contributed. We have 11 right now because of the 2 injuries, and I could go down the whole list of on our
Yeah.
roster. They've impacted our season in a lot of ways. So just enjoyed the process with these guys.
Awesome.
How are you approaching these final couple of weeks, moving into, being in a national tournament, hopefully? What are the steps that you have to jump through?
I just think it's progress throughout the entire year. We still work on what we call our core. That is our things that we install in September in our allowed team workouts and stuff like that. It's our fundamentals regarding, how we guard the ball, how we are in the gaps, how we do those kind of things. We stay with that because no matter what, if that is solid, you're going to have a chance. And
Correct.
and we just it's just kind of a continuation of what we started in September and just then also there's a lot of scout and prep for our opponents and those kind of things. But right now our focus is to win our last 2 games, so that we can secure the number 1 seed from our side and not have to have a play-in game. So
Yeah.
we're still in the moment per se. If we do get that number 1 seed, then you're looking at about a 10-day layoff, which in some
Mhm.
situations is scary, but it will
Yeah.
give us a great opportunity to prepare for the field at the Region 9 tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you guys have broken, I'm sorry, Dan.
yeah, no, go ahead.
You guys have broken it back into the top 25.
Yes.
So that's good as you guys, start to prepare. It's got to give you guys some confidence. I mean, we don't like to focus as coaches a ton on the rankings, but that has to give the girls some confidence, right?
It does. And they're the ones that told me. Yes. Yeah. So yes,
Hey,
it does.
Coach, did you know?
Yes, yes. Well, and we knew together that we got into 25, and then yesterday we moved up to 21. They brought it
Yeah,
up in our scout video. They said, "Hey, coach, did you see we moved up?" So yes, and what I really like is it is a reward for their efforts. Are
yeah,
we the 21st team? It's so arbitrary. We don't know,
Yeah.
but it is a
mhm,
recognition of their efforts and their body of work for the last 20 plus games. And
yeah,
I would be lying if there's not another interest because you could be getting in position for an at-large bid. And those are always a possibility, but there's a lot of things that would have to take place for that. We're better off focusing on winning the regional tournament because
that's right.
that's a tough thing to
Yeah,
count on is getting in
yeah.
that large bid.
Who do you have to play to get through to get to the national tournament then?
I would say the top four, at least record wise, and probably we've played a lot of teams in Region 9 altogether. And I would say Western Nebraska, who's ranked 20th at the time. We've played them twice, been fortunate enough to beat them both times, but they were close games. So I would say just right off the top, they're probably the toughest challenge, but Gillette College is playing really well. Western Wyoming is playing really well right now. We've split with Western Wyoming. We did sweep Gillette. And then sneaky good, great year is McCook. And we played them earlier in January, but they're playing well. They took Western Wyoming Western Nebraska to the end on a game last week and lost by 3, I believe it was. But they're very good. But if I was going to rank it based on what I've seen and what I think on paper, I'd go, Western Nebraska, Western Wyoming, and Gillette as the top 3 challenges. I think you guys have all been around basketball. Anybody can win any day. So we could
That's
go 8
right.
seed and number 4 can beat us. That's happened more than once in history. So we're not looking past anybody. Our 100% focus would be on our opening round. But I think who has the roster to make a put 3 games together? I would say it was those 3 teams.
Okay. It'll be interesting how this unfolds.
He always is.
Kenya last year at the tournament, my first time in Casper. What a great atmosphere, Dwight, that you had with your fans. You had a first round win, I believe, over Blinn,
Correct.
and that gave them a taste. And then
Yeah.
they came back because you played Northwest Florida State. And Kenya, this was an amazing first half because they were knocking down shots, had Northwest on their heels. Northwest prevailed in that game, obviously, because they went to the national final last year. But man, I hope this is a precursor to this year because
Mhm.
it was such a great environment to have all those fans in the Casper community. We got to get them back out, Dwight.
I,
We got to get
I,
them there.
I would love to replicate that. It
Yeah.
was you couldn't imagine how our girls felt.
Oh,
That's
tremendous.
to me that is just better than any trophy. It is they just
Totally.
felt that support and those kind of things. I would love for our freshman class and our sophomores to get to experience that again because at sometimes the atmosphere is better at high school level,
Yeah.
because the whole community gets behind it.
Yeah.
I've
Sure.
been at a lot of JUCO games where there's 50 people in the stands, and
Mhm.
we are so supported here. We have great crowds all the time, but we don't get 4,000 or 5,000 people at a game, like that. So I really hope we can replicate that experience.
Yeah, well, let's get the word out. So we would love to see that, and it just adds so much to the tournament. So we applaud all those people out in the Casper community to once again get it done.
Yeah, we will do our very best. I'll tell you, our efforts will be 100% to make that happen.
Yeah. What else you got, Kenya?
Well, just curious. So you guys, like we talked about earlier, you guys have played very well as of late and have had some success. Other than, you guys getting in the groove and kind of figuring out how to play without those really, really significant two pieces that you lost. What has it been? Like, what has been the light bulb that's gone off, without giving too much of your secrets, right?
Yeah.
But what's happened with you guys that have just allowed you guys to start being consistent and get on a roll and win ball games?
I think we really identified what we are, what our strengths and our weaknesses are. We are capable. Dan alluded to the shooting first half against Northwest. It was some of the most fun I've ever had, and you just hope and pray it's sustainable for 40 minutes, but it wasn't.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyway, we are very streaky with our perimeter shooting, especially. We've had games where we're 9 for 17, and we've had games 3 for 23.
Yeah.
So we understand that we can't count on that. We have to be very good in the rebounding department. We have to be outstanding on the defensive side, and and then we got to try to reduce our turnovers. We've got to win possessions and have very good defensive possessions as well, because there are nights where we're going to struggle to get into the 70s, but if we can play great defense and we can rebound, those nights we're still going to have a chance to win. So that's kind of we've identified that's our ticket, to be consistent and win consistent. The kids have bought in tremendously. I can't give them enough credit on their preparation and stuff. It's just really kind of fun to go to war with these guys, because they get it and they enjoy it, and it's a fun process.
Yeah, I can imagine that they have taken on some ownership, right, of wanting this to be a great year for you. And as a coach, how touching must that be, to just really just be appreciative of that and know that they want to do that for you.
It is, and I do think it's kind of obvious but gosh, I don't want them to have that pressure. Just enjoy your experience. I've had 43 years of experiences, and trust me, it's humbling to understand that's the case, but let's make it about you. This is your time, this is your experience, and those kind of things. And I've made my choice to stop at this point in time, or at least take a pause, and let's keep focused on the season. Let's control the things we control, and gosh, let's let them enjoy their experience. My goal is, after 5 years, they come back and say, you know what, my best basketball experience overall was at Casper College. That's what I hope. So they need to enjoy their time.
Well, I mean, I think it's a reflection of you, though, in, the way that you treat your players and the environment and the culture that you've created, because it could be like, we can't wait to get this guy out of here. No, that's not the case. They want to make it great for you. And I just think that says so much about you and the job that you do and how you treat people. So
appreciate
just
it.
Major kudos to you. But thank you so much, Coach, for joining us today. We know we always say this, we know you got a million jobs to do. So we always appreciate you taking the time out to visit with us for just a little bit. We're excited for your team, about your team, and we'll see you in Casper.
I'm looking forward to it. As far as those million things, it's a good thing you can't see my desk here. It's really
same here.
This would not be a good optic.
Likewise. Yeah.
Hey, but we know where everything is and what's got the priority. So
organized chaos.
We think differently and operate differently than most.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Hey, what an honor. I appreciate it. Thank you for asking it. This was a fun time.
Great. Dwight, thanks for being on Hot Hoops. Dwight Gunnare at Casper College in Wyoming. Best of luck the rest of the road down there. Okay?
Appreciate it, and we'll see you here in a few weeks.
You got it.
All right, take care.
Bye now.
Bye, Coach.
Kenya, our closing segment today. Two interesting names that we have, one, talked way too much about in this show, but someone that's near and dear to our hearts, right?
Yes.
Michael Landers, nominated for the Hall of Fame of the NJCAA,
Yeah.
now a new member.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Mr. Landers, a good friend. Obviously, I
Yeah.
think you know him more than anyone.
Yeah.
Man, let's talk about Michael Landers here for a minute. I mean,
I am
currently
so
the
excited for him.
yeah, currently the AD at Navarro College. He's
Yes.
got it going on at Navarro.
Yeah.
Formerly a head coach at Trinity Valley and at Baton Rouge Community College.
Mhm.
Um, he started the athletic department at Baton Rouge,
Yeah.
the women's
Yeah.
team and the whole department.
Yeah.
So Landers became the head coach at Trinity Valley in 2000.
Hmm.
He won 2 national titles, 2004, 2012. So he wasn't sleeping when he was over there. He was doing something, you
He was
know?
getting work done.
Yeah. 335 and 39. That's not bad number, you
It's
know?
insane,
He must have
actually.
known what he was doing. He probably had some players too, you know?
Yeah.
A member of their Hall of Fame at Trinity Valley and a two-time WBCA National Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Michael Landers. Do you have
Seriously.
anything to say about this?
Man, Michael had a very, very um, interesting way of going about recruiting and coaching, and he kind of kept the same system, the same formula. And bottom line is, he went after the big dogs.
Mm-hmm.
He went after the players that that were difference makers, and he was not easy to play for. But once those kids got through their season, they got through their career, it's like they would say, okay, I see what coach was trying to get me to do,
Yeah.
and just the standard was the standard. It didn't matter if he was at Trinity Valley. It didn't matter if he was at Baton Rouge Community College. It didn't matter if he was at ETBU before he came to the Valley. And it didn't matter when he was coaching men at Navarro before he retired from coaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just to watch him do what he's done, and to be a part of it. We coached together at Trinity Valley I was actually his assistant in 2005 for one season, and then we coached together for a couple years. And so just a basketball mastermind, a basketball mastermind. Just brilliant, but not just in basketball, but in building relationships and holding kids accountable, and helping raise productive citizens of their own respective communities. So it's so fun, and it's always so fun when we get messages or text or things on Facebook from his former players and stuff. So no one is more deserving, and I know I'm biased. I'm aware of that. But I am just super excited that he will be getting honored in Casper this year. And again, nobody deserves it more. So super excited for him.
Yeah, I'm delighted. I'm happy for him and happy for you. And
And the
looking
girls are ecstatic. Our
yeah,
kids
I'm looking
are
forward to it.
pumped up. So
This is awesome.
yeah.
All right, let's switch gears as we do in our mailbag.
Mm.
Here's a name that came across my desk that had kind of a unique setup. Okay, she is a phenomenal player. Tiana Mangahia, an Australian. She's from Canberra, Australia. But she never played junior college basketball. She's just scrimmaged. She had an eligibility issue while at Hutchinson. I saw her play in scrimmages. She would practice, but she'd never play. Wound up going to Syracuse, where she was an impressive player for 3 years at Syracuse. Averaged nearly 16 points, led the nation in assists one year from the NCAA in her first year, in fact. And an honorable mention All-American in 2018, 2019, played in Russia in 2022. uh, a breast cancer survivor, diagnosed in 2019. This was a national story, and retired from playing in 2023. But I'll tell you what, she had some swag. She could put you, put you out. I mean,
Yeah,
they had a nice backcourt. She wasn't the only one in that backcourt that Hutch had that year.
yeah.
But wow, what a tremendous player that
Wow,
could score
amazing.
it, dish it, defend you, had a good court sense. That's what you got to have for a winning team, you know. So
Absolutely.
um, kudos to her. What a great player, and sort of kind of fabric of JUCO basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. What a fantastic story.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the week, I believe.
Yeah,
Anything else?
yeah. We're coming into the end,
Yeah.
getting ready to, start to get the regional tournament started, and we'll have our polls coming out. Our final polls will be coming out soon,
Mhm.
and then we'll have our bracket. See how
Yeah.
it all gets going.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Next week, same time,
Same
and
place.
we'll be looking forward to it and see what shakes out. But we'll see you in another episode of NJCA Hot Hoops next week.